Hey Jake, so I was just looking at the calendar and realized we actually have Monday off too, right? That gives us a full 3-day weekend with nothing planned. I've had this map open on my laptop for the past 20 minutes just daydreaming. What if we finally stopped talking about it and actually did that road trip we keep putting off? We always say we'll do it and then something comes up. This time, let's actually commit to it. What do you think?
Oh, wow. Yes, I'm totally down for that. I love that idea, honestly. We've been saying we'd do a road trip since the beginning of the semester, and it just never happens. But hey, before I get too excited, I have to be honest with you. I'm a little tight on cash this month. Work has been slower than usual at the cafe, so I don't have a ton of savings to throw around. Please don't say you're thinking of somewhere crazy far away that'll cost a fortune to get to. Where were you thinking?
No worries at all. I totally get it. And I already had that in mind when I was planning. I wasn't thinking anything too ambitious. I was actually looking at destinations within a 3 or 4 hour drive from here. That way we keep the gas expenses really low, we're not exhausted from a long drive, and we actually have more time to enjoy wherever we end up. Short drives also mean fewer rest stops and less money spent on the road. Does that sound more manageable for your budget right now?
That sounds way more reasonable, yeah. A 3 or 4 hour drive is perfect, honestly. You get the feeling of a proper weekend getaway without spending half your savings just getting there and back. It's funny how sometimes the best trips are actually the closer ones. Less planning stress, too. So do you actually have a specific destination in mind already, or are we still brainstorming? Because I can tell from that look on your face that you've definitely already been researching something on that laptop of yours.
Ha, you caught me. Yes, I have been researching. Okay, so I was looking at a couple of different options and I want your input. The first option is the lake region up north. It's absolutely gorgeous this time of year. The foliage is incredible, and there are tons of hiking trails for different fitness levels. The second option is this coastal town about 2.5 hours away that literally everyone has been raving about lately. It has a harbor area, a weekend local market, and supposedly stunning views along the cliffs. Both have a lot going for them, so I wanted to hear what you think before deciding.
Oh man, both of those sound incredible, but honestly, the coastal town is really calling to me. You know how much I love photography, and a harbor area plus cliff views? That's like a dream shoot. I can already picture the kind of photos I could get at golden hour on the cliffs. But wait, I've heard that a lot of beach towns and coastal destinations can be really pricey, especially for accommodation. Is it actually affordable? That's my main concern before I get too attached to the idea and then have to back out because of the cost.
That's such a good point. And honestly, that was the first thing I checked too. So I did a quick search for accommodation options, and I actually found a really nice looking guest house right in the town center for around $60 a night. Now here's the best part. If we split it down the middle, which means dividing the cost equally between the two of us, that's only $30 each per night. For 2 nights, that's $60 total per person for accommodation. I thought that was surprisingly reasonable for a coastal area. Does that number work for you?
$30 a night per person. Okay, yes, I can definitely work with that. Honestly, I was bracing myself for like $80 or $100 per person per night. so 30 is a huge relief. When something fits within your budget like that, it just makes the whole trip feel so much more stress-free and enjoyable. I think that just made the decision for me. Let's go with the coastal town. Absolutely. I'm already mentally packing my camera bag. So what's the plan looking like in terms of when we leave and what we actually do when we get there?
Okay, so for the schedule, I was thinking we leave Saturday morning early, like around 7 or 8 a.m. I know that sounds painful for a weekend, but the reason is that we want to beat the traffic. If we leave early, we avoid all the weekend congestion on the highway and we get there by mid-morning, which means we have basically the whole day ahead of us instead of arriving in the afternoon feeling rushed. Leaving early also means we're in a good mood when we arrive rather than frustrated from sitting in traffic. Does an early departure time work for you?
7 a.m. on a Saturday is definitely a bit rough. I won't lie. My body is going to have some strong opinions about that alarm. But you're totally right about beating the traffic, and I know from experience that if we sleep in and leave at 10, we'll be sitting in holiday weekend traffic for hours. So yeah, I'll survive the early wake up. It's worth it. But okay, tell me more. What's the actual plan once we arrive? Like, what are we doing Saturday afternoon once we check in and drop off our bags at the guest house?
So here's what I'm thinking for the full schedule. Saturday, we check in, drop our stuff off, and then spend the afternoon just wandering through the town. I really want to explore the harbor area. Apparently it's beautiful and very photogenic, which I know you'll love. There's also a local market on Saturday afternoons that's supposed to have amazing handmade goods and local food stalls. Then Sunday is a full free day, so my idea is to do the cliff walk in the morning when the light is best, and then spend the afternoon just relaxing at the beach. What do you think of that, Flo?
That cliff walk in the morning sounds absolutely unreal for photography. Seriously, morning light on cliffs by the ocean is exactly the kind of shot I've been wanting to get for my portfolio. The harbor area on Saturday sounds great too. There's something really special about photographing working harbors, the boats, the reflections in the water. And a local market is always fun to explore. I love that we have a plan, but it's not too rigid, you know? There's still room to be spontaneous. And Monday, that's when we head back home, right?
Exactly, Monday is our drive home day. But I don't want us to feel rushed, so my idea is that we leave after lunch rather than first thing in the morning. That way we still get to enjoy Monday morning, maybe a slow breakfast, a final walk around town, and then we hit the road after eating. If we leave around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, we should be home by 4 or 5, which is a totally reasonable hour. We'll still have Monday evening to rest, do laundry, prep for work on Tuesday. No scrambling at the last minute. Sound good?
Yeah, that's a really smart way to do it. I hate those trips where you're racing home on the last day and you're stressed the whole drive back. Leaving after lunch on Monday is perfect. It gives the trip a proper relaxed ending instead of a frantic one. All right, I think the schedule sounds solid. But let's talk about the money side of things a bit more carefully. I don't want any financial surprises mid-trip. So, who's actually driving, and how much are we looking at for gas expenses for the whole round trip?
Good call. Let's break down the cost properly so there are no surprises. I'll drive since I know the car best and I'm comfortable with highway driving. It's about 2.5 hours each way, so roughly 5 hours total of driving for the whole trip. With current gas prices, I'd estimate we're looking at around $40 to $50 for gas total, maybe a little more or less depending on how fuel efficient the car runs. If we split that down the middle, we're each looking at about $20 to $25 for gas, which honestly is nothing for a full weekend away.
$25 for gas is incredible. That's genuinely less than what I spend on coffee in a week. Okay, so gas is sorted. That's easy. What I'm more worried about, honestly, is food. That's usually where I tend to overspend on trips. You go somewhere new, everything looks amazing, you keep saying yes to things, and before you know it, you've blown your budget on meals alone. So how are we going to handle food? Do we have a strategy, or are we just going to wing it and hope for the best?
I'm so glad you brought that up because yes, I absolutely have a strategy for food. So the key is to pack snacks and lunches from home. Things like sandwiches, fruit, trail mix, maybe some energy bars. That way we're not stopping to buy food during the drive, and we're not splurging on overpriced tourist lunches. And then in the evenings, we treat ourselves to one nice dinner out per night. That's the reward. We've been smart all day, Murray, so dinner can be a proper sit-down meal at a local restaurant. It keeps the food budget manageable while still making the trip feel special.
That is such a smart approach. Pack the essentials, keep lunches cheap, and then treat yourself to a nice dinner each night. I love it. It actually makes the dinners feel more special too, like a little celebration at the end of each day. So if we each budget around $30 per dinner, and there are 2 dinners, Saturday and Sunday night, that's $60 on dinners. Then if we keep breakfasts cheap, like grabbing something from a bakery or cafe for maybe $5 to $10 each morning, we're probably looking at roughly $70 or $80 each total on food. Does that sound right?
Yes, that math tracks perfectly. So let's actually add it all up now. All in, here's what each of us is spending. $30 per night times 2 nights is $60 for accommodation, then around $25 for gas, and roughly $70 to $80 for food. So when you put it all together, we're each looking at somewhere between $130 and $150 for the whole 3-day weekend. That includes accommodation, gas expenses, and meals. I honestly think that's an amazing value for a proper getaway. Does that feel manageable for you?
$150 for a full 3-day weekend trip. That is very doable. Honestly, way more than I expected when we first started talking about this. I was mentally preparing myself for like 250 or 300. So this is a pleasant surprise. You're really good at this planning stuff. You know that? But yeah, I think we should set a firm budget cap, like an absolute maximum, just to keep ourselves on track. That way, we don't accidentally start spending without thinking and then regret it on the drive home. What number were you thinking for the cap?
I'm so glad you said that. Yes, let's definitely set a firm budget cap. I was going to suggest $160 each as our absolute limit. That gives us roughly $10 to $30 of wiggle room above our estimated costs, which is basically a buffer for unexpected things, like if there's an entry fee somewhere we didn't anticipate, or we want to pick up a small souvenir, or gas ends up costing more than we estimated. Wiggle room is so important in any travel budget because something unexpected almost always comes up. Does $160 as the cap sound fair to you?
$160 as the hard cap. Yeah, that's totally fair and honestly quite generous given how low the base costs are. I appreciate that you built in that buffer because you're absolutely right. There's always something unexpected. Maybe we see a cool gallery with a small entrance fee, or we find an amazing local ice cream spot that we just have to try. Having that wiggle room means we can say yes to those little moments without feeling guilty or stressed. Okay, so the budget is settled. What's the next step? Should we actually book the guest house tonight before someone else snaps it up?
Yes, absolutely. We should book it tonight right now. I've been looking at this guest house listing while we've been talking, and it only has a couple of rooms left. I don't want to wait until tomorrow and then find out it's fully booked for the weekend. Here's what I suggest. I'll handle the booking right now using my card, and then you can transfer me your half of the cost afterward. Does Venmo work for you? It's the easiest way for me to collect the payment. I just need to know you're comfortable with that arrangement before I hit confirm.
Yeah, Venmo is totally fine. I'll send it to you right after you book. I actually love that you're taking charge of the booking because I always second guess myself on those sites and end up going in circles for an hour. Just send me the Venmo request and I'll pay you immediately. No chasing required. Okay, so while you're booking, let me start thinking about packing. I know it's only Thursday, but I like to start making a mental list early so I don't forget anything important. I'm thinking casual clothes, definitely my camera gear, that's non-negotiable, and maybe a rain jacket just in case.
Great, I'm booking it right now as we speak. Hold on. Okay, processing. But yes, the rain jacket is absolutely essential. Coastal weather can be so unpredictable. It might be perfectly sunny one moment and then suddenly cloudy and breezy the next. You do not want to get caught on that cliff walk without a rain jacket. Trust me. And definitely pack comfortable walking shoes, not just sneakers, something with good grip for the cliff paths. Also sunscreen, a reusable water bottle so we don't have to keep buying plastic bottles, and all your standard toiletries. Oh, and one more thing. Do you have a portable charger?
Yes, I have a portable charger. Good thinking. Nothing worse than running out of battery on your phone or camera when you're mid-hike on a cliff and you're trying to capture that perfect shot. I'll make sure it's fully charged before we leave. And my camera battery, too. Obviously. I'll charge everything Friday night. You know what I just realized? We haven't talked about snacks for the drive. 2.5 hours isn't super long, but I always get hungry on road trips no matter what. I can actually swing by the store on Friday evening and pick some stuff up. What do you want me to grab?
Oh, that would be amazing. Yes, please pick up snacks on Friday. Having food ready for the drive will save us time and money, which is exactly what we want. I'd say grab some trail mix. It's filling and easy to eat in the car without making a mess. Some fruit like apples or bananas is always good too. And maybe a couple of sandwiches or wraps that we can eat on the drive so we're not starving when we arrive, but also not stopping at some overpriced highway service station. If you do the snack run, I'll handle the booking tonight and make sure all the logistics are sorted. Fair deal?
That's a very fair deal, yeah. You handle the logistics and booking, I handle the snack supply. I like that division of labor. It plays to our strengths too. I know what snacks travel well and what doesn't get gross after sitting in a warm car for 2 hours. Trail mix, fruit, sandwiches, got it. I'll also grab some water so we're not buying overpriced bottles at a gas station. Oh, and speaking of the drive, do you want to make a road trip playlist? I feel like that's actually kind of important for the vibe. A good playlist can make a 2.5 hour drive fly by.
A road trip playlist is 100% necessary. I completely agree. There is nothing worse than 2.5 hours of silence or arguing over the radio. We should each add songs to a shared playlist so it reflects both of our tastes. Maybe we each add 15 songs tonight or tomorrow and then shuffle it on the drive. That way it feels like a proper road trip experience, not just a commute. Also, do we need to think about parking at the coastal town? I want to make sure we know where to leave the car once we arrive so we're not driving around in circles trying to figure it out.
Oh, good point about parking. I didn't even think of that. We should look that up before we go so we know exactly where to head when we arrive. Coastal towns can sometimes be tricky for parking on weekends, especially in tourist areas. I'll do a quick search later tonight and find a parking area near the guest house. If there's a fee, we can factor that into our wiggle room budget. Honestly, I feel like we've thought of pretty much everything at this point. This is really coming together well. Have you gotten the booking confirmation yet, or is it still processing?
It's just finishing processing now. Yes. Okay, it went through. I just got the booking confirmation email. We are officially booked at the guest house for Saturday and Sunday night. It's actually such a relief to see that confirmation come through. Now it feels real, not just a plan we might keep putting off. I'll forward you the confirmation so you have all the details, the address, check-in time, and the host's contact information. Make sure you check your email tonight, and don't forget to send me the Venmo payment for your half of the accommodation when you get a chance.
Yes, that is so exciting. We're actually doing this. Sending you the Venmo payment right now. Hold on. Done. Sent. You know what's funny? We've been talking about this kind of spontaneous weekend getaway for months, and it took us about 45 minutes to actually plan the whole thing. Sometimes you just need to sit down and commit to it. I feel so much better knowing it's booked and it's real. Let me check the check-in time on that confirmation. I want to make sure we're not arriving before they're ready for us.
Check-in is at 2 p.m., so we'll probably arrive a bit before that since we're leaving early. That's actually fine, though. We can drop our bags, ask them to hold luggage if the room isn't ready yet, and then just start exploring the town right away. Most guest houses are really flexible about that kind of thing when guests arrive early, especially if you call ahead and give them a heads up. I'll message the host tomorrow morning to let them know our approximate arrival time. That's just good travel etiquette, and it usually makes for a much smoother check-in experience. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, that's perfect. Message the host ahead of time. Totally sensible. It shows you're organized and considerate, and it usually means they go out of their way to be helpful when you actually show up. Good travel etiquette is such an underrated thing. And honestly, arriving a couple of hours before check-in is great. It gives us time to do some initial exploring without bags weighing us down. We can scope out the local market and see what's there, grab some coffee if we need it after the drive, and just soak in the atmosphere before we even settle in. I'm getting so excited about this.
Same. I can already picture us wandering through that local market on Saturday afternoon. It's going to be great. And you know what I love about markets? They're such a perfect way to connect with a place. You get to taste local food, see handmade crafts, chat with locals, and it doesn't cost much at all. We should make a point of trying at least one food item from the market, something local we wouldn't normally have at home. It's one of those small travel experiences that you end up remembering more than the big expensive things. Do you have any food allergies or anything I should know about?
No allergies. I'm good to eat pretty much anything. And I love that philosophy. Trying a local food item at the market is exactly the kind of spontaneous thing that makes a trip memorable. I'm all for it. You know what else I was thinking? Since we're doing the cliff walk on Sunday morning, we should look up what time sunrise is that day and maybe aim to be up there for the golden hour light. Photographers call the hour right after sunrise golden hour because the light is incredibly warm and soft. It's ideal for landscape photography. It would make for absolutely stunning shots of the coastline. Would you be up for that?
Oh, golden hour photography on the cliffs? That sounds incredible. I mean, it might mean waking up early again on Sunday too, but honestly, for views like that, I'd absolutely do it. Golden hour is such a real thing. Even I've noticed that photos taken right after sunrise look completely different from midday shots. Everything just glows. Let's look up the sunrise time now so we can plan accordingly. If sunrise is around 6:30 or 7, we'd want to be up there by 6:15 to catch the full effect. I'll add that to the schedule. Does that mean we need to set 2 early alarms on this trip?
Yes. Apparently that's just who we're going to be on this trip. Early risers. But honestly, it's worth it. There's something really special about being out in nature at that quiet hour before most tourists are even awake. The cliff walk with barely anyone else around and that soft golden light. I'm getting genuinely emotional thinking about how good those photos are going to be. And even if you're not a photographer, just experiencing a view like that at sunrise is something you remember for years. We can sleep in on Monday morning to recover. I think this trip is shaping up to be something really special.
It really is. And I'm so glad we finally stopped procrastinating and actually made it happen. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anything in my mental checklist. We've got the destination, the coastal town. We've got accommodation booked, 2 nights at the guest house, $30 each per night. We've got the departure plan Saturday at 7 a.m. to beat the traffic. We've got the daily schedule, market and harbor Saturday, cliff walk and beach Sunday, relaxed drive home Monday afternoon. We've got the budget cap app, $160 each. What am I forgetting? Anything that's still floating around in your head?
I think you've covered everything really well, honestly. But let me think for a second. Oh, what about weather? We're planning around the assumption that the weather is going to be decent, but coastal weather can be really unpredictable, as you mentioned with the rain jacket. Should we check the forecast now for Saturday through Monday? That way, if there's something concerning, like heavy rain or strong winds, we can adjust the plan slightly. Not cancel, just adjust. Like maybe move the cliff walk to a different time if the morning forecast looks rough. It's always good to go in informed rather than just hoping for the best.
Great idea. I'm pulling up the weather forecast right now. Let me see. Okay, Saturday looks really good. Partly cloudy with sunshine around 70 degrees. Perfect for exploring the town and the market. Sunday is also looking mostly sunny in the morning, which is ideal for the cliff walk and golden hour, with a small chance of clouds in the afternoon, but nothing serious. Monday is a mix. Honestly, the forecast looks about as good as we could hope for a coastal trip. We should still pack those rain jackets just in case, but I think we're going to be really lucky with the weather. This is coming together perfectly.
70 degrees and mostly sunny? That's basically ideal road trip weather. I feel like the universe is telling us we made the right call. Okay, so we've got weather, we've got the schedule, we've got the budget settled. I think the only thing left is to make sure we're both packed and ready to go Friday night, so Saturday morning is smooth. I hate that rushed feeling where you're trying to find your sunscreen at 6:50 a.m. while the car is running. Can we agree that everything needs to be packed and in the car the night before, so all we have to do Saturday morning is wake up, eat something quick, and go?
100% agree. Pack everything Friday night, no exceptions. That's actually one of my golden travel rules. If you pack the morning of, you will forget something important. I guarantee it. Friday evening. I'll pack my bag, set everything by the front door, and also prep the food for the drive. Make the sandwiches, portion out the snacks. You do the snack shopping on Friday and pack your camera gear. Then we can both go to bed at a reasonable time Friday night, get a proper sleep, and wake up Saturday feeling fresh rather than frantic. A good night's sleep before a road trip makes such a difference in how you feel the whole first day.
Agreed. Early night Friday, everything packed, snacks sorted. I feel like a responsible adult just talking about this. Okay, so let me also think about my camera setup. I'm going to bring my main camera body, 2 lenses, my wide angle for landscape shots of the cliffs and coastline, and my standard lens for the market and town details. Extra memory cards, obviously. 2 camera batteries, and I'll charge both Friday night. The portable charger for my phone, and I'll put everything in my camera backpack so it's organized and easy to carry on the cliff walk. Is there anything you want to capture on this trip, photography-wise?
Oh, I love that you asked that. Honestly, I'm not a serious photographer like you, but I do want to take some really good photos on this trip, especially at the harbor area and the market. I feel like colorful scenes with interesting textures are my favorite things to capture. Maybe you could give me a couple of quick photography tips while we're there? Like simple things I can do to make my phone photos look better. I know it's not the same as a real camera, but I feel like there are techniques that make a huge difference even on a phone. Would you be up for a little informal photography lesson on the cliff walk?
I would absolutely love that. Yes, teaching people photography on location is honestly one of my favorite things. And you'd be amazed how much better your phone photos can look with just a few simple adjustments. Things like using the grid lines to level your horizon, tapping on your subject to set the focus and exposure correctly, and looking for natural framing, like shooting through an arch or between cliff rocks to frame the ocean behind it. Also, shooting during golden hour on your phone makes a massive difference because the light does most of the heavy lifting for you. We're going to have so many great photos from this trip.
I love that natural framing is something I've never really thought about intentionally before. I always just point and shoot. This trip is already turning into more than just a weekend getaway. It's going to be educational too, which I really appreciate. Okay, I think we've covered absolutely everything at this point. We have a destination, a schedule, a budget, Packed bags planned for Friday, snacks sorted, the guest house booked, the weather checked. Is there anything at all we haven't talked about? Because I feel like this might be the most organized, spontaneous trip in history.
Ha! Most organized, spontaneous trip. I love it. That's going in the trip caption. Let me think if there's anything missing. You know what? I think we've genuinely thought of everything. Destination, accommodation, budget cap at $160 each, schedule for all 3 days, departure time of 7 a.m. Saturday to beat the traffic, packed bags Friday night, snacks from the store, rain jackets, camera gear, portable charger, golden hour cliff walk on Sunday morning, dinner budget, messaging the host ahead of time. I think that's genuinely the whole plan. Should we do a full recap just to make sure we're both on the same page?
Yes, let's do a quick recap. It's always good to confirm everything out loud so there's no miscommunication. In travel planning, a recap is when you summarize all the key details to make sure both people have the same understanding. Go ahead. You seem like you've got it all in your head already, so why don't you walk me through it? I'll follow along with my notes and jump in if you miss anything. I actually think this is good practice for remembering the details. Okay, go for it.
All right, just to recap, here's the full plan. We leave Saturday morning at 7 a.m. sharp to beat the traffic. The drive is about 2.5 hours, so we arrive at the coastal town around 9:30 a.m. We drop our bags at the guest house, let them know we've arrived early, and start exploring. Saturday afternoon is the harbor area and the local market. Saturday night is a nice dinner out, budget $30 each. Sunday morning is the golden hour cliff walk starting around 6:15. Sunday afternoon is beach time. Sunday night is another nice dinner. Monday morning, we sleep in a little, then head home after lunch and arrive back by early evening. Budget cap is $160 each, total. Did I get everything?
That is exactly it. You've got the whole plan absolutely down. Every single detail in order and within budget. I'm honestly impressed. You know, we've been talking about doing a spontaneous road trip for so long, and I kept thinking we'd never actually make it happen. We kept putting it off with excuses, too busy, too expensive, bad timing, and here we are, planned, booked, and ready to go in under an hour. That's what happens when you just commit to it and work through the logistics together. I'm genuinely so excited. This is going to be such a good trip.
Same here. I'm properly excited now. And you know what made this work so smoothly? You came in with research already done, you had options ready, you thought about the budget from the start, and you were flexible about finding something that worked for both of us financially. That's exactly how you plan a trip without stress. I'll make sure my camera battery is fully charged Friday night, both of them. And I'm going to scout the guest house area on Google Maps tonight, just so I have a sense of the layout when we arrive. First impressions of a new place are really exciting, and I want to be ready to start shooting the moment we get there.
Scouting the area on Google Maps beforehand is such a smart move. I do that too. I like to mentally walk through a place before I arrive, so nothing feels completely unfamiliar when you get there. It helps with navigation, and it gets your excitement building in a really nice way. Okay, so here's what we're each doing between now and Saturday morning. Tonight, I'll forward you the booking confirmation and you'll double check the details. Tomorrow, Friday, you do the snack run. I'll prep the food and start packing. Friday night, bags packed, everything by the door, early bedtime. Saturday morning, we're up at 6:30, out the door by 7. Sound like a plan?
That sounds like a perfect plan. Everything laid out clearly, tasks divided fairly, timeline realistic. You know what? I think the reason a lot of road trips fail or feel stressful is because people don't actually sit down and plan like this beforehand. They just sort of show up and figure it out, which sounds fun in theory, but usually leads to arguments about money or where to sleep or what to eat. We've handled all of that in advance, which means when we get there, we can just focus on enjoying ourselves. No stress, no surprises, just a really good weekend. I can't wait.
Exactly. That's the beauty of good planning. It doesn't take away the spontaneity or the fun. It actually creates the conditions for you to be truly spontaneous and relaxed when you're there, because the big decisions are already made. The word accommodation, for example, that's the place where you stay during travel, whether it's a hotel, a guest house, or a hostel. Having your accommodation sorted before you arrive is probably the single most important thing you can do to reduce travel stress. Everything else is flexible when you know you have a bed to come back to each night. I'm going to send you the booking confirmation right now. Check your messages.
Got it. I can see the confirmation in my messages. Guest house booked. Check-in Saturday. Check out Monday. It looks really nice too. I can see from the photos that it has a little courtyard and the rooms look really cozy. The phrase weekend getaway is such a perfect way to describe what we're doing. It means a short trip away from home, usually 2 to 3 days, where the goal is to relax and recharge. And that is exactly what this is. I genuinely needed this. Between work at the cafe and everything else, I've been feeling a bit run down lately. A weekend away by the coast is going to be really good for both of us, I think.
I think so too. We all need a proper break every now and then, and sometimes the best thing you can do for your mental health and creativity is to change your surroundings completely, even for just a weekend. New places, new sights, fresh air, and good company make such a difference. I have a feeling we're both going to come back on Monday feeling genuinely refreshed and inspired, and you're going to have some amazing photos for your portfolio. This was such a good idea. I'm really glad I actually opened my laptop tonight and started looking instead of just saying we should do it sometime. Sometimes you just have to act.
I'm so glad you did too. And I want to say, even though I mentioned being tight on cash at the start, the way we planned this has made it feel really comfortable and affordable. I don't feel financial anxiety about this trip at all, which is rare for me. That's because of the budget cap, the plan to pack food, and splitting everything fairly. Those aren't complicated strategies. They're just sensible habits that make travel accessible even when money is tighter. I think I'm going to start approaching all trips this way going forward. Okay, I'm officially pumped. Let's do this. Saturday can't come fast enough.
I love that energy. Hold on to that feeling through Friday. Okay, one last thing before we wrap up for tonight. I'm going to put together a little packing checklist and send it to you tonight so we both have a reference. That way nothing gets forgotten Friday night. Things like rain jacket, comfortable walking shoes, sunscreen, reusable water bottle, portable charger, camera gear, toiletries, casual clothes for 3 days, and one slightly nicer outfit for the dinners. Does that cover everything on your end? Anything specific you need to remember to bring that I might not think of?
That list is perfect. The one thing I'd add for myself specifically is my tripod. It's a small, compact one that fits in my camera bag. For sunrise golden hour shots, having a tripod makes a massive difference because the light is low and you need a steady shot. Other than that, I think your list covers everything. Send me that packing checklist tonight, and I'll confirm everything once I've actually packed it all on Friday. And hey, thanks for making this happen. Genuinely. We could have sat here tonight watching TV and doing nothing, but instead, we're going on a proper adventure this weekend. That's pretty great.
Ah, that's really sweet, thank you. And same, honestly. I'm so glad we're doing this together. Road trips are always better with good company. All right, so here's the final summary of tonight. Accommodation booked, Venmo payment sent and received, schedule confirmed, budget cap set at $160 each, snack run assigned to you for Friday, packing list coming your way tonight, and we depart Saturday at 7 a.m. Get a good sleep tomorrow night, set 2 alarms on Saturday morning just to be safe, and get ready for a proper weekend getaway. I'll send you that booking confirmation and packing list within the hour. Let's go.